a little tail. Okay. Here's the lamb. Got some little arms. There's the lamb who's supposed to be. And of course, this is all very hierarchical. It's just like any regular hierarchy. There is he's slain. There's some blood. Yuck. Okay. What we got, the 24 elders. And of course, this is difficult to draw because I didn't plan ahead very well this time. 24 elders are all around here. Then you got these 4 around here. And then Jesus, who's the high priest, would be up near the top and then going up to God the Father who sits on the throne. So, even the heavenly worship is hierarchical. And I think that was the last bit about the subject matter tonight. I think. Let me see, make sure. Okay, and there were 2 things I missed from last week. Where did I tag those? I swear to goodness I tagged them. Now I'm not finding them, so I must have lied. Remember last week we were talking about blood and water, and I left 2 things out of blood and water, and I thought I had marked them. One of them is at the end of Revelation. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, no, I'm not finished tonight. Here's the last one. Peter. This is one of Peter, first epistle of Peter. And he says this. Come to him, a living stone, rejected by human beings, but chosen and precious in the sight of God. And like living stones, let yourselves be built into a spiritual house, to be a holy priesthood and offer spiritual sacrifices to God through Jesus Christ, the mediator, yes. And then then we flip the page. It says, because you are, quote, he's quoting now from Exodus, a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people of his own, so that you may announce the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. So when Peter is quoting, he's deliberately quoting from the original holy priesthood back in Exodus. And people will seize on that, say, oh, holy priesthood, we go straight to Jesus all we want to, we don't need the intermediaries. But the thing is he's actually taking the trouble to quote that, and if you go look at the way that stuff worked in the Old Testament, exactly the way the Catholic Church still works. You still have the intermediaries, you still need to go through them. And again, royal priesthood, it means that he was reading from the Septuagint translation, not the original Hebrew. Okay, now I think I'm really, really done with that. And I got to hit those 2 things that I forgot from last. Remember one of them. Where was it? Oh, dear Lord, I'm going to drop dead if I can't find it. It's in Hebrews 13. I remember. Okay, now see, I'm so confused. This. We're talking all about the sprinkling of the blood and everything. Okay, remember, Hebrews was written after Jesus had died, resurrected, hung out for 40 days, and went back up to heaven. So this is looking back on Jesus. And in Hebrews 13, he says, and the assembly of the firstborn enrolled in heaven, and God, the judge of all, and the spirit of the just made perfect, and Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and the sprinkled blood that speaks more eloquently than that of Abel. Just terrific. Don't miss a trick. Sprinkled blood at the tail end of the New Testament, looking back. And remember, there's nothing in the Gospels about Jesus' blood being sprinkled. So this is the writer of Hebrews looking at his own tradition of sprinkling in blood and correctly attaching that to the sacrifice of Jesus' blood. Whether there was any record of Jesus' blood ever physically sprinkling or not, although, like we say in the Passion of the Christ, it's nice to imagine that it does sprinkle out. And then the last little bit from that same business about the sprinkling of the blood and everything. Remember I talked about people saying, I'm washed in the blood of the Lamb. And for some reason last week I forgot, is that comes out of Revelations, where I think John was talking to an angel. He says, who are those people over there? And the angel says, well, more or less, well, don't you know? And he says, well, you should know. And the angel says, those are the martyrs who have washed their garments in the blood of the Lamb, and so now their garments are white. And so when we talk about, being literally washed in the blood of the Lamb, literally being washed or sprinkled with Jesus' blood, again, at the very tail end of time, there's still people talking about, yeah, you have to be washed in the blood of the Lamb if you expect to find your way up here. I suppose I've exhausted myself tonight. It's like everything I could think of to say about stuff I forgot last week and the whole business about hierarchy. So I guess we're done. And time for a little closing prayer. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. Okay, see y'all next week. Thank y'all for coming.